Welcome to Rollin with Mike, podcast on wheels. My name is Mike Wilson, aka Rollin Mike. I know there's some other athletes, baseball players. I know Aiden Miller that just got drafted, number 27th by the Phillies. He's been in there. Logan, who's now a trainer, played for USF for a couple years before he decided that he wanted to give that up and focus on his studies. But I know Aiden's brother I believe, is playing in the minor leagues. Last year, year before, there were 2 or 3 pitchers that were playing for the Indians that were in. I don't even know how they heard about you all.
Mike, it's the greater Tampa Bay area
Yeah.
that times between top 3 to top 5 cities in America for high school football. Baseball, I'm sure I haven't looked at the numbers recently,
Yeah.
but baseball's right there for high school athletes that have gone on to be professional. And so we happen to be in a city that's very populated with very good athletes. You can train here year round for most of these sports. That's always good. For girls, it's a lot of softball, volleyball, uh, softball, volleyball, soccer. Those are kind of the big sports for females. And we were early on, our roots are in football first and then baseball second. A lot of football, it's kind of seasonal. Some things over the years come and go. One year we were training 8 NFL players in the off season, 7 of which we had been training them since high school. So not only one are these kids in the area, but we've had the relationship with them for over these years that we've started to get to know them in high school, kept that relationship, kept training them over the years to where they're now, playing professionally. Baseball, similar. There's probably 6 guys that I could tell you about now that are between the majors and minors, but we've known these guys since high school. Sorry to be them. They're looking to say, hey, I'm a good athlete. I want to get better. And so they wanted to work on that, started off early and continue to develop those relationships, even when they're not in town, maybe they're at college, if they need help with something. And then, hey, come on in. We're happy to help you. Happy to give you an extra stretch. Happy to give you an extra workout during Christmas break or Thanksgiving break. And so doing these things helps us, separates us sometimes from other facilities that may forget about these kids. You talk about the Miller family, how, you have 2 boys that are both professional athletes now, and they haven't let that go. They still work just as hard now as they did back when they were in high school. And that shows you that what their upbringing is and how hard they want to work and how far they want to go and do these things. It's not uncommon. I think sometimes these professional athletes get a bad rap that they kind of make it there off of talent, but a lot of them, not only do they have talent, but they have work ethic too. And that's most of the kids that have come in our doors, and we encourage it. We push it. We make things really hard. We want it to be hard for us. You got to overcome, you got to have these challenges. You got to grow through that. I think that's a big part of our secret sauce.
I see that day in, day out with relationships and how we joke around and we kid around. Even you guys with some of the trainers, every day you all hit it hard in the mornings. We'll have certain 50 rep Friday. We have all these different things to try to just challenge us, not only mentally, but physically, emotionally, and psychologically. But one thing I want to touch on, before I get into the part of just maybe some fun questions along the way, is where can individuals go to look up? I know you probably have a website.
Yeah, the best landing page to go to is mpa.com. And then
Okay.
from there, everything else kicks out off of that. That's the best place to go. And 9 months out of the year, all our training is based off like middle school, high school athletes. But what you got to is our summer camp. So during the summer, we open up to elementary age kids. And that's really our summer camp. We try to push off the middle school, high school kids to our regular sports performance classes that still have morning and afternoon offerings. But we have our summer camp usually every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 to 10. And that's really good for the elementary school age where we can slow down, take our time, and just do a lot of teaching and go over all the basics of how to work out correctly, how to run correctly, what does eating healthy look like, and what does rest and recovery, what are all those things that we all should be doing, whether we're an athlete or not? Because
Yeah.
all this stuff, it works for the rest of your life. If you learn how to squat, no matter if you're an athlete at 10 years old, you're going to learn how to squat now for the rest of your life. You learn how to lunge correctly or do a push up, you can use these tools for the rest of your life. So yes, it's great at performance and fitness early on, but we're also teaching these things that for these kids to take with them the rest of their life. That's a big part of it too.
Changing gears a little bit, let's talk about you as the head trainer and the owner. You got on the board and you are challenging each other. So, whatever each day is a different day, whether you're squatting, whether you're lifting, whatever it may be, or you're doing a rock here or there, you're doing, so tell me a little bit about that, how y'all challenge each other, push each other, make fun of each other.
Part of challenging each other and holding each other accountable is setting goals, and then also setting out performance charts. So, hey, here's what I did last time I did this workout, or here's what the best trainer did last time we did this workout. So we're all trying to compete. We're all trying to get better at that cardio. Uh, Whatever the score was, 200 points on that cardio last time we did it. Hey, I got 202 this time. Or maybe we're next to each other on the workout. We're all trying to race at the same time. And that just gets the best out of each other and gets the best out of yourself when you're pushing yourself next to each other. And usually they say, the best workout mentally is you taking yourself through, but the best workout physically is someone else taking you through it because they know what you can and can't do. They're going to push you forward. So that's part of it is just, yes, we're going to hold the clients accountable. We also want to hold ourselves accountable. We ask clients to be coached. Well, we're also being coached as well as coaches, as the other guys around us. And yeah, we have some fun, talk a little trash, but that's just part of it. That's just part of us getting each other up and going and, bringing some fun to the atmosphere, bringing some fun to what we got going on. Like this month, we have, we're all competing on squats. Yeah, we all have our own personal goals, but there's always also a little chip and a little trash talk going on.
I like that part. Also like the part of the challenging each other and the trash talking that we do here and there. But it also helps motivate me. Or I come in there one a day and wink at me. Come on, Wilson, you better give me what you're here. You better give me all you have. I like to even go by if I'm seeing somebody and I just start saying, come on, Claire, or come on, Alex, or come on, Sam, whoever it happens to be. Come on, you got this, you got this, you got this. Um, and they're not each and every one feel comfortable to do that. There's some of us that feel a
Sure.
little more comfortable just getting to know them, and I enjoy that. So I like to introduce myself, and so they get used to me being in a chair, being around someone with a disability. That hey, I may be injured, but I'm in here busting my ass each and every day, each day that I can be in here. And as a motivational technique for me, I grew up being around sports. I had coaches that pushed me, whether it's baseball, basketball was my main thing. I know when I show up, why did I show up if I'm not going to give everything? And I know not everyone's like that. I like the way that you're teaching these kids moving forward because we were taught to, if there's no one else around to motivate you, who's going to motivate you? Who's going to hold yourself accountable? And I try to, when I'm doing it, I'm trash talking myself, thinking back about my younger days and knowing that who am I competing against? I'm not competing against other people. For me, I'm competing against myself. I want to live to see 80 by God's grace. A lot of my friends in rehab, uh, whether in Charleston or Atlanta, Georgia, all of them are gone now. They've all passed away. So I appreciate the fact that you guys at Impact Fitness take it upon yourself to teach these kids and others. I know that you've went on a few trips and you've taken some of the staff. What's that been like? I know you had one where you went to Fort Bragg. I know that was something special.
Yeah. So, is in a book or podcast I had listened to a couple years ago. There's this Japanese idea called misogi, misogi, and that is you set a goal and you set something physically challenging enough once a year, in essence, that you only have a 50% chance of finishing. And so for me, the last 2 years, let's see, 2 years ago, I attempted to do a 50-mile ruck in New York City. And last year, I did this Go Ruck event. It was a 48-hour event. So there's three different events over the course of 48 hours. There's a 24-hour event, there's a 12-hour event, there's a 6-hour event with a couple hour breaks in between. And this is on base at Fort Bragg, the headquarters of the Green Berets. And it was Green Berets running the challenge. 50% chance of success, right? I think we started with like 90 some people. I think maybe only 70 people actually finished. And it's up to their idea about what they want to do, whether we're doing push-ups, burpees, hiking in the woods, carrying logs, whatever they seem fit. You just got to hang in there, and you got to listen and learn. And hopefully you have enough food with you and water and but very military style, right? So we had that. And when I do these things, it's open invite. People want to go with me. Let's do it. And we get together. We got a training program, hold each other accountable. And so over that, a lot of not only myself, but whether it be my friends or the guys at the gym, the trainers, they seem to like the same things I like. So I'm lucky enough that they do that. So I have some people to do these
Yeah.
events with, and that has offered growth to them as well. Because yeah, there's a physical component to it, but there's also a leadership, learning how to lead in a group, and when we're going through these events, there's a lot of opportunities to listen and learn if your ears and eyes are open for it. And so a lot of our trainers that we've done a lot of these events, not only are you learning physically what you're capable of, you're also learning how to push and help the group and have a team aspect to it. So that's what helps us out too at the gym, is not only we're signing up ourselves or holding ourselves accountable, and also puts you in the shoes of some of the people that you train. You may have a lady who just signed up for a 5K or 10K race, or you may have a couple guys in a wheelchair sign up for the 10K Skyway race. So you're putting yourselves in their shoes and saying, okay, what does it feel like to sign up for a race? How does it feel psychologically? How does it feel to know you may or may not finish?
Yeah.
You're putting your feet in their shoes, and that way you know the feelings that they're getting. So now you can have some empathy and you can relate to them. What does it feel like to have a training program, to be held accountable to it, and show up every day and to have goals and to develop those things? So I think all that kind of works together.
I wrote a book titled Return from the Edge, and my very first speaking engagement was at Impact Fitness on one of those Friday night lights. It was an awe-inspiring moment for me that I first got my book, this first book that I've been wanting to do for 15 years, and now it's finally come to completion, and I'm speaking in front of you guys. The 5 key steps to recovery: hope, educate, personal responsibility, advocacy, and teaching. You kind of touched on all of those subjects there when you were saying that. It's about educating yourself so you can become aware of, those around you and your community and how you can be of impact to them. What were your thoughts of the book? How did it maybe impact or make you think in light of being able to work with other wounded warriors or other challenged athletes?
Yeah. So a couple years ago, as a staff, Corey and I, as business owners, him and I both love to read, but we wanted the staff to take out of reading as much as we are. So we kind of started a book club of just us as the Impact staff. And at our staff meetings, we review the books that we're reading. So your book was one of those books. And for myself, I like to read about people's stories, about where they've come from, how far they've come, where they're at now, how they've overcome obstacles. So it shows what the human body is capable of overcoming, what the mind is capable of overcoming. So that was just a great part about your book, is saying, hey, here's a story of someone who went through this tragic accident, who had all the dreams, inspirations of the world, had a tragic accident, and didn't let that stop him, and how you've overcome that, and how you've had a life of meaning since that point. And I think that those are the big key takeaways for me, is that your story is still being written. You're writing a chapter right now. That book didn't end just because of an accident, and you've kept writing that story.
Now that your family's starting to grow, you've got 2 children, 2 beautiful children, your wife that works as well. Can you tell me a little bit about the dynamics of
Sure.
that?
So sure. Mike, so many people talk about work-life balance. I don't think it's so much of a balance. I think it's an ebb and flow. There's times when it's out of balance, times that's in balance, it's back and forth. But what I've taken a couple years ago, Tony Robbins said this, and I've always attached to it, and I've kept it. It's more like work-life integration. So how
Right.
can you integrate them together, right? So I'm lucky enough that I can bring my kids to my job and they can work out with me at the gym. Or if my kids do jujitsu, they're at jujitsu, I can do jujitsu while I'm already there. Or we can do stuff together as a family that still gets everyone. So I like to ruck.
Yeah.
My kids either go on the ruck with me, whether they're walking or on their bike or whatever it is, or as a family, we like to do all the things together. So that is finding ways to mix all together, not one person doing their own thing, other person somewhere else, and everyone's kind of often doing their own thing. So I'm lucky in the fact that I'm in an industry and in my career path that I can, integrate it all. Mm. But that's just something I think about often is how can we work it all together? How do we make the time to get this all done at the same time? And just something I think about.
Okay. I know it's kind of like ebony and ivory, ebony and so,
Man, Mike, I'm too young for that one, man.
I know, yeah, you are. I'm an old school, but I just want to thank you for being here today. You've been an inspiration to me. The guys at Impact Fitness have been an inspiration, um, even the clients. I want to thank you for being here, taking part today in this. I know Amber, if she could be here, and when she sees this, she's probably your biggest critic of all, or can get away with it.
It's all
Uh,
good. I
but
appreciate she's my greatest teacher, so I'm always learning from her. So it's
right.
all good.
Anyhow, well, we'll wrap this up today. Thank you again. Thanks, Maddox, for being here. And anyhow, he's off in his own world. But anyhow, thanks. I really appreciate
Awesome, Mike. I appreciate having me in here.
it. Yeah.
Hopefully I get invited back.